learning to sew, online versus offline. Hello, you're welcome to my channel. I'm Vivian, and on this channel I upload videos on sewing tutorials, fashion tips, fashion business tips, styles, and everything about fashion and DIYs. Okay, so today's topic is learning to sew, offline versus online. So you are very much welcome. Welcome back. So this question has been going on and on and on. Is it possible to learn sewing online? Can one perfectly learn sewing online? Learning to sew online and offline, which is better? Now, I must tell you, this question would be answered differently by different people because people learn differently. But I have put down some points for you. Okay, I've written down the advantages and disadvantages of both learning online and learning offline. Okay, so I have the pros and the cons, yes, of learning sewing online and offline, which is also known as the physical. That's the offline, also the physical environment. Okay, be it a fashion school or a tailor's shop where you can learn as an apprentice. So I have put down the points. So in case you see me looking down, I have everything written down here so that I don't forget, and I'll be giving them to you point by point. So I'll be starting with the advantages, that is the pros of learning sewing offline. Okay, but before that, if you are new to this channel, I say a very big welcome to you. Do well to hit on that subscribe button below and also turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss out on any of my new uploads. Okay, so you're very much welcome, and also welcome all my subscribers. God bless you all. So now let's dive into the topic. So for the advantages of learning sewing offline, that is learning in a physical environment, be it a fashion school or as an apprentice in a tailor shop, is direct interaction with your instructor. Yes, that is the first one. You have direct interaction with your instructor. You can talk one-on-one with the instructor. You can ask questions and you get your answers immediately. Your instructor is there to put you through in whatever you are doing. Okay, so that is number one. So the next one is you have social interaction with other students. Okay, wherever you are learning, you must have other people that are also learning too. So you have this interaction with them. You can communicate, you can relate, you can learn a lot of things even from the other students. Okay, so that is one other advantage of learning sewing offline. Then the next one is you have access to equipment and tools. For example, if you're learning to sew and you don't have a sewing machine at home, when you go to your place of learning, you have the advantage. Okay, you have access to the equipment, the sewing machines, and some other things you use in learning. You have access to them. You can practice with them. So this is one good thing about learning sewing in a physical environment. You also get immediate correction to your project. Okay, when you're working on a project, you're sewing a dress, if there's any mistake or any fault, your instructor is there to put you through. Your instructor is there to correct you immediately, and okay, you end up achieving what you want to achieve. Then one good thing again about learning to sew in a physical environment is that you learn the business at once. Yes, you learn the business of sewing. You learn to interact with clients because you see your instructor doing that. You learn how your instructor relates to clients. You learn to build your confidence. You learn the way he or she charges, that is the fee and all that. So these are the things you also learn while you are learning to sew in a physical environment. Okay, so now I've given you the advantages. Now let's move to the disadvantages, which are the cons of learning to sew in a physical environment or offline. So the first one is this: it is expensive. Yes, compared to learning online, learning in a physical environment is expensive. There are places you will go to learn, you'll be charged about 150,000 and above and all that. So one of the disadvantages is that it is expensive. Then the next one is inflexible timing. The timing might not really be okay by you because you have to leave your home. You have to be there or else you miss the lessons. Okay, so your physical presence is needed wherever you're learning. You have to be there. Then you also have lack of attention, because when you're learning in a physical environment, be it a fashion school or in a shop as an apprentice, you have some other students there too. So it will not be easy for the instructor to give attention to each and every one of you. Okay, so you might not really get that special attention you need because the attention will be divided. So that is one other thing about learning in a physical environment. Then it takes time. Yes, it takes time. That is why you see some people learning to sew for a whole year. Yes, it takes time. You can take a month just learning how to draft the basic bodies in a physical environment. Yes, it happens. It happens. You see somebody that have been attending, lessons for like a month or two, and when you ask the person, what have you learned, the person will tell you just how to take measurements or just how to pedal a sewing machine. Yet it happens in some places, but while in some places they have it running fast, like in a fashion school, but in places like ordinary shops where you're learning as an apprentice, there are times you will have to spend months just learning just one thing, or you see the instructor doing several things at a time and you don't know which one to pick because it is not organized, just like the online training. In the physical environment is what you see, you learn sometimes, okay? But in a well-organized fashion school, you might have a course outline where you follow. But if you're learning as an apprentice, it's just what you see your instructor or your madam or whoever is teaching you. So whatever you see the person doing, that is what you learn. Sometimes they don't start from the scratch teaching you the basic bodies and all that. You just start, and the very day you start, whatever you see your instructor doing, you just learn. You see your instructor taking measurement today, you learn. If the instructor does not take measurement today, you have to wait till whichever day he or she takes measurement. So this thing keeps prolonging your time there, and at the end you might spend one whole year, okay, and you haven't learned so much. So this is one thing about learning in a physical environment, or else you are ready to spend so much in a well-organized fashion school where things are organized according to course outline, according to levels of learning like beginners, intermediate, and advanced. If you're not going to spend so much, then be ready to spend so much time learning to sew in a physical environment. Then you have to take notes. That is, you have to write. In order not to forget certain things, you have to take notes, or else you might learn something today and tomorrow you forget it. So you have to always have your writing material with you, and you also have to leave your comfort zone. You have to leave your home to the place where you are learning, and this might not really be easy for somebody that is working or someone who have some other engagements, okay? So it might not be easy for that person to learn sewing in a physical environment. So these are the disadvantages of learning to sew offline, okay? So now let's move to learning to sew online. In an online scenario, we all know it is learning through your device, that is through videos, pictures, and notes, okay? So now we'll move to the pros, and the first one is you learn at your own pace. Yes, you learn at your own pace, at your own time, in the comfort of your home, just at your own time. So that is just one of the advantages of learning online. So the next one is you have the videos, the pictures, the notes there in your device, and you can visit them whenever you like. You can watch them whenever you like. You can rewind, you can pause, you can fast forward, you can do whatever you like. Okay, so you can rewind for clarity. Whatever that is not clear to you, you can play back the video and get clarified on the teachings. Okay, then in the online scenario, you can pick or choose whatever you want to learn, unlike in the physical environment. So online, it's sometimes organized. Okay, you have the beginners class, the intermediate, and the advanced. So you choose whatever you learn. You choose whatever you want to learn. So as a beginner, you decide to go for the beginners course. Okay, as someone who have learned to a certain level, you choose the intermediate. Then when you have learned and you want to go further, you choose the advanced. So that is one thing about learning online. You choose the course you want, okay, because this is usually how they are organized. Okay, like I have online trainings, I have the beginners class, and so on and so forth. So you also have the you can choose whatever you want to learn when it comes to online. You can decide that, okay, I want to just learn how to make children's dress, ball dresses, and you just pick that course. You can decide that, okay, I want to just learn how to make shirts, and you just pick that course. Okay, but in the physical environment, it's not usually like that. You just learn based either on the course outline in a well-organized fashion school, or you just learn according to what you see your instructor doing in an apprentice shop or in a tailor shop as an apprentice. But online, you can just pick the courses according to your needs, according to what you want to learn. So that is an advantage. Then one other advantage is you don't have to leave your home. I think I've mentioned that. You learn in the comfort of your home using your device. Okay, then it is easy for you to practice when you have these videos on your device. So as you watch them, you follow them step by step. As you're watching, you're doing what you're watching. So it's easy for you to practice, and I believe in that manner or in that way you will learn fast, because as you're watching what is being taught, you are practicing it. Since you have the video, you just follow everything step by step. If your instructor is drawing a line, you draw a line. If she's making a curve, you make a curve. So as you're watching the video, you just follow step by step, and you will be able to learn. Keep doing this for some time until you are perfect and you're able to do those things without watching the videos anymore. So it is actually easy to practice when you have the videos with you. Then you have special interaction with your instructor. Yes, you can put a call through to your instructor, and you chat privately with your instructor, asking your questions without being shy. Unlike in the physical environment, where you might be shy to ask your questions because of other students. Okay, but in an offline scenario, you can put a call through to your instructor. You can chat up your instructor through your social media platform, and you relate one-on-one, though not physically, but you can communicate with each other in the online situation. You can get answers to your question in a written form. Okay, so when you ask questions and it is replied back in the written form, it is easy for you to understand, because you just read it as it is and you understand. Okay, then it is less expensive, yes, compared to the physical shop, where you have to pay very heavily, most especially in an organized fashion school. Okay, you have to pay so much. But online courses are not that expensive. Okay, they are not that expensive. They are usually affordable, and you can pay depending on the course you want. If you want a beginner's course, you just pay for that at that time. When you're done with that particular course, you can now move to another course, then you pay for it. So it is not that expensive. It is usually affordable. So another advantage of learning online is that you can learn with your children. Yes, if you have a grown-up child, you can learn to sew with your child without having to pay for that person again, okay, without having to make another payment for that person. So that is an advantage. These are the advantages of learning to sew online. Now let's move to the disadvantages. You know that whatever have advantage also have disadvantages, okay? So now let's look into the disadvantages. Okay, in the online training, you have limited interaction with your instructor. Yes, unlike in the physical environment where you can speak with your instructor face to face, it is not so in the online training. You can't speak with your instructor face to face. You have limited access to your instructor. You have, you can't communicate one-on-one unless through your device. So that is one disadvantage about learning online. Then you don't have a deadline to submit a project, though this one can be an advantage to you because nobody is rushing you or trying to see your work, so you don't have to bother yourself. But at the same time, it's a disadvantage because you're not having that push to complete a sewing project. You're not having that motivation. The instructor is not there to motivate you, to shout at you, or to instruct you to finish a particular project. So you might become lazy in finishing a particular sewing project. So this is a disadvantage. Also, you have limited social interaction with other students because you're not seeing them physically. You just chat on your platform, but there's no social interaction with other students. So this also is one of the disadvantages of learning to sew online. Another thing is this: if you don't have the tools in your house, let's say you're learning to sew online and you don't have the sewing machine, it will be difficult for you to practice, okay? Unlike in the physical environment where even if you don't have the machine or the tools at home, when you get to your learning place, you can practice with the tools and machines you have there. But online, if you don't have the tools and machines in your house, it will be difficult for you to practice. You just have the videos and wait until you are able to get the machines. So this is just one of the disadvantages of learning to sew online. You might also have delay in getting answers to your questions. Yes, online. So it depends on when your instructor comes online. That is where he or she would see your questions and answer them. And by then you might not have the zeal again to continue with the work. Perhaps you are on a project and you need to ask a question concerning that project. Then you type the message to your instructor. It's whenever that instructor comes online or whenever he or she sees the message, that is when the message will be, or sees the question, that is when the questions will be answered. And maybe by the time the question is answered, you're no longer on that project, or you can no longer wait and you just do whatever you want. So this is also one of the disadvantages of learning to sew online. So I've given you everything you need to know about sewing, or about learning to sew online and in a physical environment. So it's not left for you to decide which is good for you. But there's something I want to tell you. It is 100% sure that you can learn to sew online. 1, if you have a good instructor. 2, if you really practice what you are being taught. If you take it seriously, you can learn to sew online. And if you are a beginner, it's always good to start with the beginner's course, but because you can't miss the basics. If you miss the basics in sewing and you just jump into sewing, you just want to sew styles overnight, you will not get it right. So you have to start from the very beginning. You have to start from the basic. Learn to sew from the start, from the scratch, where you'll be taught how to draw the basic bodies, where you'll be taught the basic sleeve and the basic things about sewing. Then gradually you would advance. Gradually you move up and you can start sewing styles that you want. You can start sewing different styles. Then if you want to go into business with sewing, yes, after learning online, you can then proceed to a physical environment. But this time around, you're not going to spend so much time and so much money there because you have already learned, okay? So for someone that just went straight into learning to sew in a physical environment from the scratch, the person might spend up to 1 year. But you that have taken the courses online, you can just spend up to just 1 month because you want to start a business with it. So you have to learn, okay, or see for yourself how clients are interacted with, how you can make your charges or build your confidence and all that, okay? So you can just go to learn for just 1 month. These are the things you just go to learn, and by the time you go there, you will see that there are things that you even know better than the instructor because you have learned online. And sometimes when you're learning online, you learn from different instructors. So that is one thing about learning online. You learn new things. And when I say learning online, it's not just going to YouTube and you pick. No, it is always good to learn through a paid class. Okay, learn through a paid class where you have one instructor, and by the time you're done with that, you can still pick another course from another person. And one thing about sewing is this: everybody has his or her own methods. Okay, you might learn a particular method here. By the time you understand it perfectly well, if you see someone else doing a different method, it will be clear to you. You won't get confused. But if you have not learned directly from one person, you just pick different people at the same time, you might get confused. You might end up getting confused. So just stick to one teacher at a time. Stick to one instructor at a time. By the time you're done with your beginners class, you move to the next level until you can sew perfectly well. Then to start a business with it, you just go to the physical environment. This time around, even just an ordinary tailoring shop will be just okay for you, just to see how things are done, just to see how customers are or clients are related with, just to see how charges are done and all that, and you'll be good to go. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please hit on that subscribe button below, and also turn on the notification bell beside it so that you will not miss out on any of my new uploads. I upload videos on this channel every week, okay? So thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.